always feel like I figure out the meaning of life or something. And so it's all comes back to love.
Do you know that the reason we like the birds is because years ago that was like a sign of threat?
So I think talk therapy works to a certain extent, but then they're saying your body holds so much emotion that you haven't dealt with. They offered like plant-based plant medicine. So they had ayahuasca, cambo, and San Pedro. So for people who don't know, that's like indigenous people like would take those medicines to like raise their consciousness and like get to another frequency and learn things about yourself as well. But we did do this plant medicine called San Pedro, and that's like the masculine version of ayahuasca. It's just like a street party.
At
That's
7 a.m.
Oh yeah, from 7 a.m. the whole way through to 7 a.m. It just didn't stop.
Wow. Welcome back to Life in Depth. I'm Ryan McDade. I have a lady called Barbara Doherty on the episode today. She's a friend of mine, and we talk about life in general, what it's like to travel through Australia, New Zealand, South America, but not just traveling, spending time mingling with the communities, embracing the culture, and working away without getting paid in return, experiencing what it's like to be part of that community for a moment in time. We also speak about just life in general, lessons learned, how to see life, how to see the good in everything, and being able to live a resilient life. I hope you enjoy. Barbara, pleasure to have you today. What's the crack?
Good. How's things, Ryan?
Good. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you for inviting me.
I wanted to chat to you. You recently took time out and you went and traveled, so I'll start with asking why.
Do you ever feel like there's a place where you need to go? Like I had this like inner knowing that I'm like, especially with South America, but like Colombia, I was like, I need to go to Colombia. There's something there for me. And probably because I met loads of Colombian people in Spain. I've been living there for the last 7 years. So it was just more of a gut feeling that I needed to go there, and also to learn more Spanish because my Spanish was a bit rookie, and I wanted to like get fluent because a lot of people in South America don't speak English. So that was one of the main reasons as well.
It wasn't just Colombia you went to, though. Where did you start? And how much time did you take out?
So basically it was 7 months in total. So first of all, we started in Australia.
Who's we?
So me, my sister, mum and dad, we went to visit my brother Joseph in Australia for Christmas. That's where my travel started. And then after that, we went to New Zealand with my other sister Claire. So me and my two sisters traveled all around the North and South Island. And I wanted to break out into that song, the North and South, the hills of Donegal. And then,
well, I mean, you're more than welcome.
No, I can't sing. If I could, I would. And then after my sisters flew home, I flew then to Brazil to meet my friend Christine. I was volunteering. So the whole reason was I wanted to volunteer as well in South America. And it's also a really good way to travel for cheaper. And you actually get to meet the local people. So I flew from New Zealand to Brazil. And I started volunteering in a farm just 2 hours outside Rio de Janeiro. And I was like teaching English to the people. It was basically this whole big farm set up for the locals because in Brazil, it's quite a poor country. So there was, I was working teaching English, and meanwhile there was other classes like cooking classes, there was embroidery, the people could learn how to become a barber, or they could learn to cook, they could learn to be a hairdresser. So I was like part of that team of giving English classes to the people that needed it. So then after that, I went back to the city centre, and it was Rio Carnival. I don't know if you've ever heard of the carnival over there.
I've heard that.
Yeah. And so my friend flew over from Barcelona to meet me, which was amazing. I don't know if you've ever seen, but it's like everyone danced in the street. They're called blocos. So like every day for like 10 days from morning till night, there's parties on the street, which suited me and my friend well.
Why is that?
Well, I'm not a party animal now, but I used to be a party animal. I realized there that I'm not a party animal anymore.
Why is that?
I think I've just overdone it over the years. Since I've been a teenager, living in Spain, I've always just loved a party. But I think when you've done everything and seen everything, or it feels like you have, it's not like as a novelty anymore. Whereas now that I'm getting older, Like I want a bit of both. Still a few all wee nights out there here and there, but generally like going for lovely walks in the evening, I know meditating, going to read a book, or just going to speak with my friends like this and like have like deep chats. So it's somewhere in the middle that I'm trying to find the balance.
Yes, yes. You mentioned, so did you start in Australia?
Yes.
Yeah. And did you volunteer there, or what was?
So basically, when all my family went to visit my brother, they all went home, and then me and Amanda, my sister, we traveled up the Gold Coast. So there's this app called Workaway. So basically, it's an application, and you can download it, and you just put a profile on it, and there's places like hotels, restaurants, people's houses, like that farm that I was on in Rio. They put up an advertisement being like, "Oh, we're looking for volunteers. The hours are like a few hours per day, like what you get in exchange for like, I don't know, gardening, teaching English, working on reception, whatever a service it is, you get to stay for free, which is like a huge thing because the most of the money you spend when you're traveling is on accommodation. And as well, you get to meet the local people. So me and my sister traveled up the Gold Coast, and we were stopping off a place like Byron Bay and Mullumbimby and Brunswick, and we were doing different volunteer at people's houses. So that's where it started, and like it was such a good way. Yeah, like we met so many people. Like you know when you go on holidays, like you think you're experiencing the place, but you're in like a holiday resort or you're in an Airbnb and you're with your friends. You're not really getting to know the local people. Whereas with doing the volunteer work, we were staying in people's houses, like in the bush in like Australia. Like they were taking us like to all these like I don't know like yoga classes, taking us down to the local fair, going to their neighbor's house for dinners, out helping them gardening, and like really getting immersed and like meeting the real people of the country, which made it's a completely different way of traveling when you're just going on holiday. So yeah, we started that volunteering in Australia, and then for the
What
next.
kind of volunteer? Like, what were you doing in Australia?
So one of the first ones was so cute. This wee couple called Glenda and John. We were just volunteering at their house, this amazing big mansion in like the Australian bush, with like views, just looking over the mountains, and like they had a jacuzzi. Like it was actually some of the times that we were like, what are they gaining from us being here? Like we thought we were like gaining more. Like why do you want us here again? So we would like in that one we were just like because they such acres of land and they were getting old, they didn't have enough energy to like work the land or like work even their gardens. So we were like doing anything from like gardening to like pulling weeds to like what else? I mean, we did have a lot of fun there too. I feel like, yeah, that's what the exchange was. Then she would take us to her yoga classes. Then she'd take us to the local farmers market. And the thing is, a lot of the people on their bio would write, oh, this is about a cultural exchange as well. So the work wasn't that hard. It was more about connection. I think the people on there also wanted foreigners like us, like two Irish girls in the middle of Australia, helping them garden. It's not so much that they really needed it. It was more a mixture of like, oh, it's nice that you're helping, but we also want to meet some nice girls or guys or whatever and an exchange because they would reiterate like we'd have like family dinners every night and they would be like, okay, this isn't about just you working for us or volunteering, like tell us about your family, tell us about Ireland, like, and then they would tell us their story. So it was like yeah, a cultural exchange more than anything.
I remember speaking to you one time and you're away, and it's just like it just sounded like you're having the time of your life,
Yeah.
because you're even though you're working, it kind of felt different because you're not doing it for money, but you're like
Yeah,
getting to experience or immerse in the community.
exactly. Yeah. And it's like stress free as well. Cause normally, like, even if you like your job, there's still an element of stress to it. Whereas there, it was like this big chunk of 6 or 7 months of not really having to do or be or anywhere, but more just like take it day by day and like just do wee bits here and there. And then like meeting people and then hearing their stories, whether it's happy stories or sad stories. And yeah, just connecting with them, really.
Mhm. Did that for how long in Australia?
For Australia, it was probably in total about a month and a half
Mm. And what would you say like your takeaways were from spending the time there?
in Australia.
Mm.
Well, I feel like because I lived in Europe, like especially in Barcelona, like we're spoiled with like culture, like beautiful buildings, like by the architect Gaudi, and like everything's so like like steeped in history. There's so much history. Whereas in Australia, I felt like I probably said this before, and people say you can't say that, but I felt it was a wee bit soulless. Like maybe because I'm comparing it to like Europe that has like so much culture and history, but in Australia, like I didn't feel at home. If anything, I felt there was like I can understand why people go there because I know a lot of Irish people and people we all know live there. It's great to go there and make money and everything like that. But personally, I wouldn't be able to live there. I felt the people were nice and all, but if I'm being honest, if I compare it to all my travels in South America, there's not a comparison. And yeah, it was a good experience, and I got to visit like family as well.
Yeah.
So
And then you went to New Zealand. That was all travel.
yeah, I was with my two sisters. We were just traveling in a car to the North Island and the South Island. Um, and yeah, just like traveling around. Like again, we were more connecting. What I found there as well, it's like because of the is it Maori people? Yeah.
Yeah.
The indigenous people, there wasn't
Maori, I
much
think,
yeah, there wasn't much talk of them. And maybe like the only experience we did there, we went to an actual Maori experience where like they did the haka and they did this whole ceremony thing for us. But again, it's beautiful. It's actually so much like Ireland. I don't know if you have you been to
No,
Ireland,
but
New
I've they always like Kiwis and Irish are kind of
Yeah,
similar.
exactly. That's why I always think that Australia is like England and Ireland's like New Zealand,
Hmm.
which is hot, basically.
A lot hotter.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I found again that although there was culture, it was more hidden because obviously the indigenous people were like kind of like pushed out. So there wasn't as much culture as I would have liked. But it is stunning. Like New Zealand is class.
Hmm. Then, but the main thing for you was to go to South America, and you wanted to do the exchange there.
Yeah. So
So you did you do Australia through Workaway as well?
part of it, yeah. So maybe for a month and a half, oh no, maybe a month, me and my sister did work away. And the other time I was with my family.
Mm-hmm.
It was just it's a really good way volunteering of seeing more and traveling around more and meeting like loads of new people.
Yes. So South America then.
Yeah. So South America, yeah, I told you I was volunteering in the farm, which was amazing. I met like so many like cool people and really like disadvantaged. Like I don't know, it's different when you're dealing with people that don't have a lot. I've noticed that in South America, they were the happiest people. Like the kids, like you'd walk up to them and they'd be all surrounding you, hugging you. Maybe because also when if you've light skin and your blue eyes, it's different. Like we're a bit of a commodity. But they were so like intrigued by me and the other volunteers and like, I don't know, it was different. And a lot of them had absolutely nothing, no money for even food. They would have to eat maybe where we were working. But like the people were just so welcoming and inviting. And I think that was like the stark contrast that I felt like then from traveling from other places. And then after Brazil,
when you're in Brazil, the farm, it's not like it's not in the age of a city. It's like
us 2 hours outside
yeah.
the city.
So what's the backdrop like?
Oh my God, it's stunning. Like just big, massive, like rolling mountains, loads of waterfalls. So like we had loads of free time as well. So I'd teach some English classes to the kids or the adults. And then after they're like, oh yeah, you can do what you want. So I would like just go and swim in the waterfall, or like me and some other volunteers would go get the car and go to another lake or like something like that. So it's just immersed in nature. It was stunning.
Mm. How long did you spend there?
I spent 2 full months in Brazil, and then after
not at the same place.
So what I did was I went to the farm to teach English, and then for 2 weeks I met my friend for the carnival.
Tell me about the carnival.
Yeah,
because I like that's kind of world famous.
Yeah, it's huge. It's just basically a massive party like every day. So they have things called blocos. So there's like an app you can look up, and they say the best blocos was like 7 a.m. in the morning. Like Brazilian people know how to party, so they'd get up at like 5, 6 a.m. and then they would like go to a blocko, and then you'd see on the app, oh, the next good blocko's here. Then you'd get a taxi.
What is a blocko?
A blocko is basically so like like a block of every block. It's just like a street party.
That's at 7 a.m.
Oh yeah, from 7 a.m. the whole way through to 7 a.m. It just didn't stop.
Wow.
Like you could constantly just keep moving on from party to party. And there would be loads of live bands. You'd follow them. They're playing drums and they're singing and chanting. And there's music on the street. The crazy thing though about, and my friends warned me because a few of them had been there, and they're like, Brazilian people will just walk up to you and kiss you on the street, because during carnival everyone's in this like open mood and just like anything goes. So I remember like me and my friend Christine, we got out of the taxi and the streets be like rammed, And I remember just like we just got out and like instantly all these guys are walking towards us and we were like, what's going on? Like either asking for a kiss or trying to kiss you and you'd be like, oh my God, I wasn't ready for that. So but it was funny as time went on, you're like, well, I know what they're gonna do. So you can either say yes or you can just be like no, and they never pushed it. But it was a funny experience of even though my friends had told me about it, I didn't until you experience it yourself, it's different. So we had the best time. We just like did a mix of partying, a mix of like chilling on the beach. And then for the last week, we went to this island called Isla Grande where everyone goes after carnival to like detox, and decompress. So we just chilled there and we beaches and just like did absolutely nothing and just like recharged our batteries. And then she flew home. She flew back to Barcelona, and then I went back to the farm for another 3 weeks to teach English. Um, and then after that, I flew to Buenos Aires because my auntie has been living there the last 10 years and no one ever had visited her from the family. So I thought, like, I'm this side of the world, I have to go see her. And so what I did there, I volunteered in a hostel in the center of Buenos Aires.
Was it easy to like see when do you just I assume there's an app like there's loads of app forms or applications that you can fill out
So how it
wherever you
works is
want,
say
like
now you want to go to New York. So in this application called Workaway, you put in New York and it'll come up with like I know a few hundred, maybe okay, depending on where the location is. Sometimes it could be hundreds of applications or hundreds of notices. So then you can pick and then you just go through them all and you just send them a message and you have your bio. So you'll tell them what you're good at. You've like, so mine is Barbara. I'm from Ireland, live in Spain. I'm a social media manager. So I can help you with your Instagram or your TikTok. I'm also like I know I can do gardening. I speak like intermediate Spanish. I'm an English teacher. So you'd put that on your bio. So when you send them a message, they'll review you. And if you're a good fit for whatever they're offering, you'll get a message back. Generally, I found it quite easy. I messaged just a few and I was there for 7 months and I did maybe about like 8 or 9 different volunteers.
it's not like anyone will just go and travel for X amount of months. Would you agree?
I don't know. It depends who, like maybe people that I know in Spain would like, so it's more normal. I think like I've heard of people that have been like, oh yeah, I'm just going to take a 4 month break and go travel South America. So I think
But
I know,
you done it on your own though too in South America.
yeah, I did do it on my own. Just when my friend came to visit me, that was 2 weeks with her. But I kind of wanted it to do it on my own because as much as I love all my friends, like even with my sister, like there's some days like she'll be like, oh, I want to go for a coffee, like I want to lie by the pool, or I want to go do this, and you end up having to compromise, which is not a bad thing. But it comes to a stage where you're like, well, I just want to do what I want to do, so I'd rather not have to deal with someone else. So I wanted to do it my own. Like even if my friends wanted to come, they could come for a wee chunk of it, but because did you ever like go to it's like if you even go to a bar or a party or some event with your friends, even a networking event, you generally will stick with your friends. And the whole point is to network and meet new people. So when you do things on your own, you have to put yourself out there. Like it is nerve wracking. You're like, oh God, I'm sitting here on my own now, thinking you look silly or something. Not that anyone's even probably looking at you anyway. But then when you're on your own, people will probably I find they generally approach me more because it's less probably intimidating by being in a group of girls. Or then you just have to make conversation and you end up meeting like amazing people. Like that's probably like the main takeaway from like traveling around South America. Like I've met so many class people, but I made like 3 really good friends from one of the volunteer works. And I know I wouldn't have made a good a friend as them as I did if I had a best friend with me. Because you just don't make an effort. You're like, I have my friends. I don't need new ones. So when you're on your own and you've like, they don't know anything about you as well. So it's like a new, you can be who you want to be. Not that you're like changing who you are, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
It's completely a new experience.
I've done a wee bit of traveling and I agree. It's just like when you put yourself in a situation where you're on your own, you're kind of forced to
Yeah.
make new connections and it's fun as well. You're kind of both on a path where you're just time out.
Yeah.
And that's what it feels like. Your time out though, like taking time out into the wild, you could call it, into the wild of Brazil.
Yeah.
It's not everyone does it. Usually people travel town to town to town, but you're teaching Spanish, you're volunteering. You're kind of something that you've always done too, is volunteering.
Yeah.
Why is that?
I feel like there's an element of always giving back. like to society, to disadvantaged people, like giving them an opportunity that they wouldn't have otherwise. And I was thinking like any of us could be in that position, like so, and it's also just something in me. I don't know if there's a reason, maybe, but like just wanting to be a good person, wanting to like help people out if I can,
Mm.
I suppose.
Have you done anything there that you wouldn't really get to do back in Ireland, back home?
Well, in South
Yeah,
America,
or even in it, Australia, New Zealand,
I
apart from obviously the sightseeing and
yeah.
any different kind of experiences.
Well, when I went to Colombia, one of my favorite workaways was in the Amazonian jungle. I was there for like 2 weeks, so that was a volunteer program. So what they were right in the jungle, and you had to like take this wee dirt path for maybe like 35 minutes, sometimes in the pitch dark, but it was amazing. So yeah, it's just a very hippie vibe. But I like like I'm not a hippie, but you just fit in well when you're traveling. You just kind of like, oh well, this is my life now. I'll just like be like this or be this person for a few weeks. So what they wanted to do was they were building an extension onto their main house. So what we do is go to the river, collect stones, carry the stones up in a bag in our back, and then put them down. And then the boys would like lay them. But the thing is, we didn't get to do a lot of work there because it was like tropical rains. So a lot of the days it was just like lashing rain. So we would end up like they had a yoga studio in the place, which was stunning. Like just like picture this like lovely wooden decking, just looking out into the forest and all these gorgeous trees and like exotic birds and all these sounds. And I was right by the river too. So we would stay in doing yoga, meditating. Um, and also they offered like plant medicine. So they had ayahuasca, cambo, and San Pedro. So for people who don't know, that's like indigenous people like would take those medicines to like raise their consciousness and like yeah, get to another frequency and learn things about yourself as well.
Yeah, but did you try any?
Well, I didn't try ayahuasca, although it's funny, they always say like ayahuasca has to call you. I had booked it 3 times, but one time I cancelled because I didn't, you have to do the diet before, like no
Mm.
coffee, no meat, and like no sugar and stuff. And I thought, no, I better do it properly. But then the shaman cancelled twice. So I was like, oh, well, there's no point forcing this. And then I was leaving. But we did do this plant medicine called San Pedro, and that's like the masculine version of ayahuasca. And basically, what it's like is, so what happened was I was volunteering with a few other girls and some guys, and mostly from the UK and Germany. So the leader, the shaman, he did like a wee ceremony with us first and like blessed us and was doing like chanting and hymns. And it's funny, like what do you call? I always forget the accordion. Like I was playing the accordion, never played it before, but it's kind of like one of those
Is that?
intuitive things. You just put it on your mouth,
Oh
it's a
yeah, yeah,
wee
yeah, yeah. What's the name?
an accordion. No, it's not an
No, I don't
accordion.
think it's an
No,
accordion.
wait.
I,
I always forget the name.
I
A mouth accordion?
no, I mean I haven't heard of it called that, but
Aye,
I
well,
know
you
what
know
you're
what?
on about.
Yeah, we'll get it after anyway. So, just to like invite the spirits in, they say, and then there's one of the girls had a wee egg shaker, another one was playing this wee flute, and it was just about calling in San Pedro and like welcoming in the plant medicine, which yeah, one of those things you'd never like never experience here. Like maybe we could, but it felt really like spiritual because it was in like South America in the jungle. So like he blessed us with these like sacred plants and like he was burning all this incense and like chanting and stuff. And so then he like blessed the liquid from the tree. And then we all drank it. And then we went in this like 6 hour walk through the jungle that was like
It's during the
absolute
daytime, isn't it?
during the day. So they say San Pedro you're meant to take it during the day and ayahuasca is traditionally taken at nighttime. Um, so then we all went on a wee adventure through the jungle and we were stopping off at different waterfalls. There's a place called Fin del Mundo, which means end of the world, because there's this one waterfall that like literally like fell off the edge and like if you looked over, like it literally felt like the end of the world because it was such a big drop. So we were like going through the jungle and like basically what I could describe San Pedro as is like when you look at nature like on a great day and you're like, oh my God, this is stunning. Like think of that, like you're wearing binoculars of like beauty, like nature beauty, and you turn it up like 1,000% and you're just like in awe. Like even you look at a rock and you're like, oh my God, like it's stunning. Like, so we were just like, it's just basically about appreciating nature. That's what it was. So we were like swimming in like these beautiful like waterfalls. The sun was beating down. Like the shaman was playing a wee flute. It was like literally like from a fairy tale. I felt like we were like just in this like book, like all just swimming in the water, like all laughing, and everything felt so light and just everything looked so beautiful. So yeah, that was experience. That was really
Yeah,
cool.
it's it is funny, like whatever about plant medicine, psychedelics, like they do kind of amplify your connection with nature,
Yeah.
which it's kind of hard to describe. It's kind of like something you need to experience, like, but
Mm-hmm.
both seeing and feeling, you know, when you
Yeah.
see it, it just feels alive because the color of it even is amplified and the way it
Yeah.
moves, and then you just, I don't know, you just feel this really strong connection to it too, like.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's the thing. It's like, because then after I was like, oh, you know, I was like listening to Ram Dass or one of those like kind of spiritual leaders, and I was saying it's all well and good like taking these plant medicines, but then it's about cultivating that feeling by yourself. Like you can still get to that level, maybe not as heightened through like breath work and like meditating. So I remember looking at like this beautiful scene. Like there was like this, I can't remember the name of the bird, but it made like a clicking, like a like kind of sound, which was like this echo throughout the whole jungle. And like looking at the trees and the blue skies and the birds like just like flying over. And I was like, I want to remember this feeling and I want to try and cultivate it myself because I don't think you should continue to keep doing them. I think well, it depends on what you want, but it's still nice to be able to do it, get that feeling, and realize, well, the nature hasn't changed. It's your perception of it that has. So, I don't need to be taking a plant medicine anytime I want to appreciate the lake in front of my house. I can just like sit out and look at it and be like, oh my God, that's amazing. And be aware of it more.
Yeah, and I think that's the key, you know, it's like for me too, it's the same. It's just like, holy shit, what I've
Yeah.
just learned from this experience, why did I not see this before?
Uh-huh.
And then applying that and not going back and doing them all the time, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And not
Um,
use it as like a crutch and like keep I wanting to get that high because then that's like taking other drugs. You're constantly chasing that high, which isn't
mm,
healthy,
yeah.
you know?
And that's what I experienced the first time with ayahuasca was like this female spirit. She came to me, she spoke to me. I mean, I would never have believed that that was even possible.
Mm,
If like people told me, the facilitators are like, you know, you can talk to her, and I was just like, you know, all right. But when she appeared, it was just amazing, you know, and it was for the first time. I was like, Jesus, Mother, like Mother Earth. She's a living spirit. This
mm,
planet is her. This is her like her physical representation. Just like this is our body.
yeah.
This is her body.
Mm,
And up until that point, I never really appreciated it. But after that, it was just like,
yeah.
fuck, I need to appreciate you more, you
Uh-huh.
know?
When you say like she appeared to you, what do you was that physically or like or did you
No, like because, you know, with ayahuasca, you close your eyes, it's at nighttime and it's about
Yeah.
going inward. So she appeared and like, it's like another realm opens up that we don't generally see. I
Yeah.
mean, I can't see, but it opens up another realm and she appeared.
Yeah.
And it felt like she was holding me in her arms
Yeah.
like that, like I was lying in the fetus position. So, and I was just feeling this love, like, but the
Mm-hmm.
intention, so it's all about intention too, you know.
Yeah.
It's just like the intention I had was um helping with my inner child, you know,
Mm-hmm.
my childhood, whatever. And I just felt love from her. Like the warmth that I felt was crazy. It was just like
Yeah.
running through my body. It was just like incredible. And I'm still skeptical in that moment
Yeah.
after 15 minutes because the feeling was so good. I just didn't want to, just like
Yeah.
this. I've never felt this, someone hold me like this
Yeah.
before. I was like, this can't be real. So I was like, if you're real, show me something.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like a little circle opened up and I saw colors that I've never saw before. If she showed me colors, I was like, okay, I see now, you know.
Yeah.
And that was putting the doubt in me away, you know. So
Yeah.
now I know that there's definitely a lot more going on to
For sure.
and that what see that
And
we see
like
with our eyes, like.
all the indigenous people, because some people might be like, "Oh, that's a load of crap," like, or not. Yeah, I just won't believe it because they haven't experienced it. But I think there's a reason indigenous people have used this for I don't know centuries, if it even yeah, probably is that long. Like
Even
to
millennia.
yeah, like to get closer to Mother Nature. That's the whole thing of it, and because it's natural, it's not like it's a fake drug or like they've or synthetic or they've changed it. It's literally from a plant, and that's giving you information or downloads, like to like yeah, raise your frequency or raise your consciousness. So yeah. But I
Yeah.
can understand people being skeptical of it. Like,
Yeah, and I think it's good to be skeptical because I
yeah,
mean, if you believe everything,
yeah,
I mean,
you'd be led down the garden path.
yeah. But what you said too, like it's what like integration is just like what have you learned from it, and are you integrating it,
Yeah,
to
for
your everyday
sure.
life? Like, and I think that the other thing about it too is just it's all about connection. Like, we're closer to nature than we think. Like, our bodies are made up from the
Exactly.
materials from the soil. Like,
Yeah, that's what I was thinking or feeling, sorry, when I did the San Pedro, that, as humans, we look at nature like as if it's outside of us, like, oh, that tree's gorgeous, that like plant or that lake or the sea. But like what I was feeling was like, but we're just another expression of nature. Like we might dress and like clothes and stuff, but we're just a different expression of what nature is. So we always separate ourselves like, oh, I'm going to go for a walk in nature, but sure, we're part of that too. Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
So that's what I also was feeling when I was, yeah, like taking the plant medicine.
And that's what I thought. Like, I was younger, I would have threw a piece of rubbish out the car
Yeah,
one day, and like I
that
can't
was
say that
me.
I'm proud of that, but
Yeah.
like I did do that because I didn't. I just to me it was out nature was something else.
Aye,
But then when I realized that I am just another expression of nature,
aye,
it's just like, oh shit, you
yeah.
know.
I
I
shouldn't have
need
done that.
no, I know, you know, but it's like, but why do we have that? Like, why do we? It's interesting. Like, we think we're separate from other things, or
Mm,
like we live in a, a period of separation. Well, I did, where I
mm,
thought everything was outside of me or
yeah.
separate.
Well, I think in the society we live in, we're kind of taught that, or like subconsciously with all like the way we live in society, it's taken us away from nature. Like our 9 to 5 jobs, being in an office, being in front of a machine and a computer, like it's drawing us away bit by bit from nature. So I'm not surprised that we feel so separate from it because we don't understand that we really need it.
Mm,
Like, I don't know if you ever heard of forest bathing.
I have, yeah. Your
Yeah.
sister does it, I think.
Yeah. So like she got into that in the last, or since the pandemic, 'cause she was like a therapist her whole life for the NHS. And then she started like researching like forest bathing, which is from Japan, it originated from. And there's like proven studies how like trees and nature, when you're in it, it like reduces your stress and anxiety and it really helps you overcome things. So it's not like, I don't know. It's not that it's not been proven, it has been. So I think it makes sense because we're recognizing something in nature that's already in us. I think that's why we want to be close to it because we're so similar, but we don't really know it. So I think then when we're out and about, like going through a forest or a jungle or going for a walk by the beach and we're in awe of it. But I think it's because part of us is in that. That's why we like it.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Like, for me now, nature's like part of my life. I
Yeah.
mean, going for a simple walk, it's just like always grounds me.
Yeah.
If I'm like dealing with something or like kind of little caught up, I'll
Yeah.
just go for a walk, leave my phone, and
Yeah.
it's so nice. Like,
Definitely leave the phone. I always do that now because you end up either like, yeah, replying to voice notes or taking photos and you're like, just like, yeah, disconnect and connect with nature.
listen to the birds.
Yeah.
I love listening to the birds.
Yeah, I know, me too.
But do you know that, like, recently I heard the reason we like the birds is because years ago that was like a sign of threat. So whenever the birds stopped
Oh.
singing,
Aye.
there was a threat. So there would have been a predator walking
Right,
about the
okay.
camp, say, and obviously the birds would stop singing. So then we would know that there's a threat. So the birds also have the impact of
Okay.
just in our DNA that we
Yeah.
know we're safe as well.
Aye. And we've lost all of that, like how to connect with nature and like, because what did they do like years ago without all the technology? They were just so close to the land and with the moon and the sun and the stars, they would know whatever way the moon was, they should harvest the crops, for example, or if the tide was out, like just, okay, for example, like I'm trying to grow my hair long. And when I was in Colombia, because they're quite indigenous too, in Colombia, there's so many different nationalities. Like I always thought there was like just one culture, but when I went to all the wee different towns, there's so many different cultures, so many different like saints. They love a saint, so they do in Colombia, like celebrating all these saints and festivals. And so I got like a treatment on my hair, and I went to the hairdressers, and all the girls have gorgeous hair, like down to their bums in Colombia. And I was asking, I was like, "How do you grow your hair so long?" And I went to the hairdressers and I asked her, and she's like, "Oh, well, you obviously cut your hair with a crescent moon, like you know that." And I was like, "No, I've never heard that." She's like, "What?" I was like, and she's like, "Yeah, that's why we all have long hair. Obviously we do treatments and stuff, but anytime it's a crescent moon or coming into a full moon, you have to cut your hair, and that promotes growth. And then she's like, there's other things, doing different beauty treatments on different days will have a different effect, setting intentions. So they would know all about the moon cycle, which is connected to our, like a woman's time in the month as well, which is the same 28-day cycle, follows the moon. So stuff like that as well is like, I feel like over in that side of the world, because they have more of an indigenous, they're connected to the land more, they know all these wee tricks that make a difference. Whereas like, I feel like here we've like lost it.
Yeah.
Or forgotten it.
I've moved home now too. So
Yes.
you're coming back to the land.
Back
What's
to
that
the
been
motherland.
like? Or why the move back?
Yeah, it's funny. I've always been a big advocate, as you know, like, no, I'm not ever living in Ireland. Although I've always loved home, I think it's class, especially where we're from and in a showing. Like, it is one of the best places to be, especially like with the good weather as well. It's just so stunning. But I've always been like, since I left home maybe at 17 to uni, and then since that, I used to live in a Greek island for like 4 seasons. Then I was like, I came back to Ireland for a wee bit. Then I moved to Spain for 7 years, and then I never really came home, only for holidays. But no, I was always a big advocate, like everything foreign. I don't live at home. I'm gonna live all my life away. And I don't know what happened. Like the last 2 years in Barcelona, I had this feeling that I didn't want to be there, because I think I've outgrown like the lifestyle. As I said, like we were partying a lot in the beginning, and then then we started our business, me and my friend, and then we had to grow up a bit and deal with opening a startup. And I don't know, I think my priorities changed, and then the city wasn't giving me what it used to. So then I started thinking like, where do I want to be? And then every time I was going home, I started feeling, I really love being at home, and like the sense of community. Like I've been home now for 2.5 weeks, and it feels like I've been home for months, because I've just stepped back into this really close knit community where I'm from the countryside, like outside the town. And like, because it's such a small area, everyone knows who you are. So if you walk anywhere, you're like, oh yeah, you're Kevin's daughter. Like, and instantly then like they'll bring you in, or you walk down the road and you'll chat to one of the neighbours. So because of the community that's already built here, I feel like I've probably never left. Even Mum said the other day, it's like you've never left. And I've been gone since I was 17, and now I'm like 33. So
it feels good to be home now.
I'm surprised. I was always like, I'm never moving home, never living at home. Like I'm like, never say never, because you just don't know how you're gonna feel or what will change in you.
So it is nice here though.
It's class.
Like I lived away too for 12 years, and then when I came back, I wasn't sure how I'd feel, but when I got back, I'm just like, actually, it's really good.
Yeah,
I think you get to a place in your life. Well, I mean, everyone's different, but for me, I got to a place where actually I realized that it's good for me to be in a like calm, not like rat race place. When I think of the city, I was chatting about this today. My brother is just like, when you're kind of in a city or an area where there's a lot going on, you're constantly seeing people walking fast, driving fast, in, out, and you're taking all that information in, and then it's just like, that's like charged, whereas when you're in nature in the countryside, it's like you don't see that, so you see a slower pace, and then you feel a slower pace, and
exactly,
and life feels better,
Exactly, I felt exactly the same. I was like you've been to my apartment in Barcelona, like right in the city centre, like you couldn't get more central than it. And it's just even the noise, the people rushing, the bin lorries at night time, it's like hectic, or people in the street shouting, and it's so hot as well that you can't sleep with your windows closed, so you have to have your windows or balcony doors open. So it's constant stress that you don't really like consciously take in, but underneath them, like some days I didn't need to rush anywhere, and I'd be like sprinting down the street trying to get to the shop, and I'm like, I have nowhere to be. Why am I so pent up? Whereas at home, I'm just like, it's just a different vibe.
Yeah, it's nice. I like it.
Yeah.
Welcome back.
Thank you. I'll see how long I last, because I'm also like, can I live here? But no, we'll see.
I think it's good. There's like it definitely offers something, and then it's just like you always have it as a base, and if you want to go for a weekend elsewhere.
It feels safe as well, and like secure. Like when I wake up now, I'm like, it feels really nice to be at home. Like, and it's weird. A lot of my friends have all moved home as well. Like a few ones living back here in Ireland, and then English girls that I met in Barcelona. And like other girls that I met traveling are all like, oh yeah, I'm actually going to move back to my hometown. And we're like, what is this like? And I've chatted to other like neighbors and friends recently, and they're the same, like some of them living in America and Australia, and everyone has this pull to like go back home. I don't know what's that's about.
Maybe it's just a thing that happens when you get a little bit older.
Yeah, maybe.
As you say, like you definitely do enough for the drinking, partying,
Yeah.
etc. Like it gets tiring, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Jeez, I can't imagine still doing that.
No, I know.
I wouldn't be able. Even now, if I take a night out and like, even if I don't drink much, I might have a few beers, maybe 2 shorts. I did like a few weeks ago, and I was just like, no, just it's a nice reminder of why I don't drink.
But
like.
did you ever really drink that much?
Not in the last few years. I haven't drank much at all. No. Very odd occasion, but like that odd occasion where I did have a lot of drink, but never be drunk. I haven't been drunk in years. Like,
I mean, that's saying something coming from an Irish man.
Yeah, but
you haven't been drunk in
but
years.
like I've had drink, but like drunk when I like no, I just never like that.
I wish I could say the same thing.
How would you? So something else I want to talk about is you as a person. Like, you know, obviously I know he's a friend, but how would you describe yourself as a person?
I hate questions like this because then you just sound like full of yourself.
No, but I think it's good to know yourself too.
Yeah, no, I know it's good to know your strengths and weaknesses. I mean, from what other people have told me as well, I resonate with it. But I do feel like I'm quite authentic. Like I say that I don't care what people think, but I do. But like generally, I will act the way I want to act and be how I want to be, and I think then people end up liking that because I'm not acting basically, or I said act, but like I'm being who I want to be. But I would say I'm quite authentic, like quite humorous, like love, like just like laughing. I think and I'm quite deep as well, probably too deep for people sometimes. Like, fuck, I don't want to chat to her. Corner them at a party and just start chatting. Me and my sister laugh about you. Like, oh, there's the two of them again in the corner of a party, fucking therapizing people. But yeah, I would say I'm quite deep and spiritual. Yeah, over the last like 4 years, I've gotten really into spirituality and like I want to say that I meditate, but I was sporadically in and out of it. So I do sometimes. But and just I like kind of like self-help and like healing and stuff like that. I'm really into that.
Yeah, well, you seem quite someone like who's strong, independent, and I'd say balanced. You know, your outlook. Would you agree?
100%. I think I remember my sister telling me she went to Thailand to do some a massage course, and like it was a silent retreat she did then. But over there, they always talk about the middle way. Like, don't ever get like too happy. Don't ever too sad. Just the balance in between. And I feel like that's a good philosophy to live by. It's just always take the middle way.
And tell me more about that then. You know, give me examples of middle way.
Of me taking the middle way of things. Like, I know about it. I may not practice it. Probably like with work and stuff like that. I'm not a big believer in like, oh, you need to hash and hash and hash to get what you want. I'm more of like, yeah, you need to put in the work and like you need to have a goal and a focus, but also it's the belief behind that working. Like I always believe that everything's going to turn out perfectly, even when it looks like it hasn't. I'm like, well, this is for my highest good. So it's a balance of like with working. It's like, yeah, I'm going to like put my head down, but I'm not going to like ruin my life and work like 7 days a week and be stressed out about it. It's more a mix of like, doing the work, doing a good bit of research, putting your effort and focus into it. But I think a bigger part of my life is always knowing that what's meant for you won't pass you, and just always believing like good things are going to happen, you know? So that's more of like, I would say my middle way.
Yeah. I think that's a good way to look at like just knowing good things are going to happen. But like what is good and what is bad?
Yeah, well, it's interesting. Yeah, like that's the thing. Another like philosophy is like nothing is good and nothing is bad. It just is. And there's this like fable or like kind of like wee story about a farmer that I always love. So basically, there's this farmer and he has a horse, and one day the horse runs away, and all the neighbors come over and like, oh my god, that's wild bad luck. Like your horse ran away. What are you gonna do? And the farmer's like, yeah, maybe. And then the next day, the horse brings back 3 wild horses with him, and all the other neighbors are like, oh my god, that's such good luck he had. The horse brought back 3 horses. And he's like, yeah, maybe. And then one day his son fell off one of the wild horses that came back, and the neighbors came around again, like, oh my God, what bad luck. Your son broke his leg and he's in the hospital. And then the next day, soldiers come from the army to enlist all the young boys in the area to sign up to the army and go to war. And then his son didn't have to sign up because he had a broken leg. Again, all the neighbors like, oh my God, what good luck. So the story can keep going on and on and on like that. So essentially, they say nothing's ever good or bad. It's just neutral, because you don't know what event is leading up to the perceived bad event that you had, or the perceived good event. So we shouldn't take things as good or bad. It's just neutral, and you don't know then where that's going to take you, you know?
Yeah, and then that goes back to what you said, is like just knowing good things will happen.
Exactly.
So if you're able to look at every single event, as hard as it may be.
I know. For example, it's like, you know, we're also business partners as well, but probably people don't even know that. With me and my friend Gigi, we started the Dirty Vegans. It's like a vegan food sandwich company in Barcelona in 2019. Anyway, we started, as you know the story, but we started like from a whim idea during the pandemic. And we were coming up with recipes because we became vegan at the same time, me and Gigi.
Why did you become vegan?
I think veganism it is a trend, as much as people might not want to say that. I think it is, because there's definitely been a decline in it. But it was around that time when veganuary was like everyone was doing it. And I was kind of reading into it. And my sister Claire at the time was vegan, and she came home for Christmas dinner and she had this like nut roast. And I was like, why are you vegan now? So she explained to me all the different reasons about the environment, about the animals, about, you know, how much water is, you know, all these different reasons. And I thought, okay, well, I don't not like the idea, like, not that I really deeply resonated with it either, but I thought, okay, it's January, I'll become vegan. So me and Gigi, we became vegan. And around that time, we were going out for lunch because we worked in a sales office at the time. And there was, in Spain, like, they love meat. They don't even know what the word vegan means at this stage. So we were walking around and we're like, there's no food. Like, and we were eating like horrible, like just plain sandwiches. And then we were like, oh, like, we really miss like sandwiches from the UK and Ireland, because she's from the UK. And then we were like, oh, like, then we started researching in Spain, like there was vegan restaurants, but I was like, there's no vegan sandwiches. Like, so then we were like, oh, maybe we should try. So during COVID, whenever it was lockdown, we were testing out recipes, texting each other, sending videos and different things like that. So then when COVID was still kind of lockdown-ish, but then we said, oh, why don't we just do like a soft launch? Well, we left our 9 to 5 jobs. We were like, and then we were like, let's start off, instead of like buying a place or renting it, why don't we start from her kitchen? Because in Spain you could do that at the time. You could sell on like Glovo, Just Eat and Uber Eats from your home. So what we did was started with all the recipes that we got over COVID. We started selling from her wee kitchen and had our friends as the delivery drivers, and was just marketing on Instagram, nothing else. And all you could pay was cash or Bizum. It's kind of like Revolut in Spain. So we were getting sold out every day. We were just like doing, like, and I was doing the marketing. Like, I've never done marketing in my life. And I was just doing doing wee funny stories, everything, you know, the Dirty Vegans is a wee bit cheeky. We were always like, you don't have to be vegan, just a little bit dirty. And like, I was very tongue in cheek and a wee bit like, I just cheeky all our posts. So I was just doing that to generate generate traction and stuff. So then we seen that it was actually really busy. We're like, we can't do it from her kitchen anymore. So then we moved into a proper kitchen that we were renting off a friend's boyfriend. He had a business. So we ended up being like a dark kitchen, which we were a kitchen inside another operating business. And then we started selling on all the delivery apps. Anyway, so that started growing and growing and growing. And then we ended up moving. Well, you come into the company then at the time. And then we ended up moving to Bristol for 2 months for that pop-up, which was really successful. And then we opened a franchise in Hackney in London for a few months, which then ended up, this brings me back to the point, then it ended up closing down due to like issues with the franchisee. But then that's the thing of like, we were talking about the middle way, or not believing that everything will work out. We could have seen that as like, oh my God, it's closed down now and it's such a failure. And why did we do this? And we should have done that. And it's like, yeah, but we don't know now what's going to happen next. We got an email the other day and we're in talks about a different opportunity that could happen from that. But I think if you have a failure, like a closed business or something not going how you planned, you'd be like, oh, that's it now. That was a whole waste. And you shouldn't have done that and I shouldn't have done that. It's like, no, but this isn't over yet. We don't, first of all, the whole experience the amount of stuff that we learned from two girls that knew each other for, I think, a year, starting off in this business adventure for the next 5 years, learning everything on the go. Marketing, Gigi was doing all the accounts as an accountant, like, and like, ordering like food and like just being business people that we'd no backing to that. So anyway, then it was always that belief of everything's going to work out the way it should, and that thing happening was meant to be. And now the story continues. We just don't know where it's going to go.
Yeah. And I think it's a good philosophy for life too. Like,
Yeah.
because it doesn't have to be always like a business, so like that can lead to something.
Yeah.
You just don't know what that is.
Exactly.
And seeing everything is good.
Yeah. And like, the reason like a lot of people would have seen us, like the person that approached us now, is like they seen what we've already done. So it's nothing's ever in vain. Like, and the opportunities come from an experience that you didn't think was that successful. That leads you on to the next step of the story. So yeah.
Yeah, and that's kind of how I look at life too. It's just like something serves its purpose for the time that it did, and it's just like, okay. And also it's just like sometimes we get to a place in our life and we're just like, maybe, we don't want to give it any more energy. It's just like it's done its time. I've done my time and I'm happy with it.
Yeah.
And it's time to let go and maybe welcome something new in.
Yeah.
And I know that's what you did in the sense of leaving Barcelona too.
Yeah.
You left that with whatever was going to happen and just being open to opportunity.
Exactly, because we didn't know. Because like when you came into the business, we were like, oh, well, in Barcelona, because everyone's eating meat, although we were successful, it wasn't the best place to be because we looked up like veganism is huge in the UK. It was the biggest European market. But yeah, we went there not really knowing, but we took a chance being like, well, why not? Sure, what harm can it do? And from there, like the 2-month pop-up in Bristol was amazing. Like working with actually a friend in his cafe and the experience we gained. And then actually that opportunity led us on to like franchising, which that wouldn't have happened if we hadn't went to Bristol. And yeah, the people that we met along the way, like it's all worth it. It's all life experience at the end of the day.
And that's probably why, like, I was able to come in and help and try and help and just see new ways. And obviously there's still opportunities there that we're still exploring, but also that whatever happens.
Exactly. And I think me, you and Gigi have that mindset. I think that's why we work well together as well, that we're all about like, let's see. Yeah. Go with the flow.
Yeah. Would you open a vegan place in Buncrana? Think it's the right spot?
No, I don't think Buncrana people are ready for veganism.
Maybe some might know, maybe some might not.
Yeah. Well, I think what would work is like I've seen in restaurants, because like if we all go out for food, it depends. There's going to be vegans in your group or meat eaters. Vegans won't go maybe to a meat eating restaurant. No, they'll go to a meat eating restaurant if there's loads of vegan options on the menu. But a meat eater wouldn't generally just go to an all vegan restaurant if there wasn't any meat options. So I think it's like that's our tagline was always, and our philosophy was, we weren't trying to convert anyone to being veganism. We weren't saying it was the best way to live. We were saying you don't have to be vegan, just a little bit dirty, like a wee bit cheeky. So it's like you can have a steak dinner on Friday night and the next day be like, oh, I ate a lot of meat this week. I'll just have a vegan sandwich, or I'll have like whatever it is. So that's the whole, the balance, the middle way.
Yeah. You're not a vegan anymore?
I'm not, no. I was vegan for, I don't know how many years now, maybe 2 years. Then I was vegetarian. Then I was pescatarian. Then I was over and back with that. And then last year, I just had a feeling, like, because I would go out for food with my friends that were meat eaters, and I didn't care what they can eat, do what they want. And I never actually felt the urge to eat meat or fish. But then, like, I don't know what it was. Oh, I think I do. When we did the pop-up, there was the guy that was working there was cooking these amazing burgers, and maybe I don't know, the smell got in my nose. And then after that, I was like, I really want to eat meat. I just had this craving, whereas before I didn't have the craving. And then I thought, like, I'm always the kind of person, like, I always do what I want to do when I want to do it. So I'm like, well, I didn't want to eat meat, now I do, so I went back to eating it. So
yeah, because you're not the preacher type.
No, like,
you weren't like, because I always heard a joke of like, how do you know a vegan is a vegan? I'm sure you've heard it.
What is it?
How do you know someone's a vegan?
I don't know.
They tell you.
Yeah. So true. I mean? Yeah, they wear like a badge of honor.
But I never felt that you're that way. So
no.
And you always said that you don't have to be a vegan to eat vegan.
Exactly.
So you're back now, obviously, as a meat eater, and some people do, some people don't. So it's not like you're hardcore. But I think a lot of the time too, people are vegan is because how animals are treated and stuff. Um, and I suppose I have mixed feelings about it. Of course, we want to treat animals as humane as possible, but then like there's something else in mine I've seen. It's just like, well, eating an animal and eating a plant is like it's still alive. It may not have human emotions or animal emotions, whatever that we have, of course not. But like we also don't know what a plant is experiencing as
Yeah.
as a living species.
Yeah, I think I seen that online as well, actually, and it was like they were studying plants, and it's like when like an owner comes up and your dog greets you and is wagging its tail and it's really happy to see you. Well, they now have done studies on plants. It's been proven that a plant will recognize its owner. I don't know if it's 500 meters away and start moving, like not just moving in the wind, like getting excited and know that that was their owner. So I think again, there's a lot of things that we don't know. Yes, it's definitely different looks wise, like an animal to a plant, but I seen that too. It's like, well, they're a living organism as well. Like you say, sure, mushrooms, they're in between an organism and an animal, and they're like living, breathing. So yes, that argument is like what is it? You're like, you're not really killing either or. It's like choose your
choose your source of
yeah.
energy, your source of food. But there's also a study done where they had 3 plants and they spoke really good to a plant. They spoke really bad to a plant, and then they neglected a plant. You know the result in that. Yeah. The neglected plant was the one that was the worst because it was not even being recognized. The one spoken bad to, that was obviously bad or didn't grow as well. Then the one that was people spoke really nice to. So plants do receive energy, whatever you give them.
It's fun. I was talking about that with my sister and her boyfriend about that, because I was giving him abuse, and then I was joking. I was like, you should be happy I'm giving you abuse. It means I like you. And they were laughing like so like narcissistic saying that to someone. But then I were like, yeah, then we were talking about that analogy. I was like, but it is true though. It is better to receive, like, even if it is bad, like your parents shouting at you, or like someone not being nice to you, than being completely ignored. Like, yeah, the plant completely withered and died. So it just shows you then like how we do speak to plants make a difference, like how you speak to a child or a dog or an animal. So it's like we were saying about nature and like us being in nature. It's all just different variations, but we see it different. Like, oh, but that's only a plant. That I don't know, dog is worth more than it. I'm sure dog owners will be like, it is. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But that's because we don't know enough information about it.
Yeah, and the way I look at plants too, or trees, whatever, is like, if you think about it, humans have been around for I don't know how many years. Like, I genuinely don't know, but like maybe tens of thousands of years, maybe 100,000. I don't know. Plants have been here for like millions and millions of years. So like they have learned to survive on this planet through all the different periods that it's gone through. So you think about like in that, what I don't even know if it's called DNA, but whatever it is, the makeup of plants and trees, etc. Like that's like there's so much knowledge there in learning how to thrive and survive.
Exactly. And like all the, like you see trees in a row, like all the roots are like connecting and talking to each other. And I read something that say like one of the trees is like dying at the end, all the other trees will know, and they'll send energy through the like the neural pathways, which is their roots, to the dying tree to help like it survive. So it's like we think like, oh, it's just a tree sitting there, but there's loads of stuff going on underneath the surface that we don't know. So yeah.
And that's where the mycelium network comes in too.
Yeah.
Because like the trees connect with that's the mushroom network, mycelium, through their pathways, and like the mycelium charges the trees like attacks. So it's like, yeah, you can use our network, but we need sugar from you. So the tree gives it sugar, and then it's like a benefit.
Yeah,
this is all
bartering.
Studies done. I know.
It's so cool. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. Mushrooms are cool too. The psilocybin, plant medicine. They're powerful. I don't know. Have you done the mushrooms?
I have tried it in the past. I would say it's similar to, remember we spoke about San Pedro in the jungle. I think it's a very similar, like you see things that are living, like when you look at nature. And I always feel like I figure out the meaning of life or something. And so it's all comes back to love. I don't know if you feel that when you've tried it. Like everything is just love. No matter what way you look at it, it's just like you just go in this ring, like, oh yeah, it's about love. And you think about your relationships and people you know, or even fights you had, and then you see other people's perspective and you're like, oh, they're only doing that because actually they love me. And then I was like, Like when we did it, we were like, yeah, it just came back to love.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, but it comes back to love when you're able to. I think like you're able to see life through a loving lens.
Yeah.
You know, and if you're not, then but when you do see life through a loving lens, if you're able to see everything as love,
Yeah. Uh-huh.
then it allows you to see whatever happens in life. For me, anyway, it's just like that's just teaching me to be more compassionate. You know, if someone
Yeah.
does something shitty to me, yeah, I can react and be like, fuck them, whatever. But I'm like, the reason they done that is because they're hurt or they're
Yeah.
angry. And then it's just like, fuck, you know, they're suffering. So it's just like, that brings it back to love
Yeah.
for me. It's just like show compassion and able to love more.
Yeah.
Like,
And there's loads of documentaries on Netflix. I forget what it's called. Do you remember them? But I've watched them anyway. And like about mushrooms and psilocybin.
There is one, I can't remember the name of
Maybe
it.
yeah, I can't remember them either. But like in those documentaries, like there's this man that's been studying mushrooms for years. Like
Paul Stamets, I think.
Yeah, and like like mushrooms are like healing people of like all these diseases, and like a lot of things, all our diseases like that come up is stem from like stress or like mental anguish or like trauma that you've not like dealt with in your past that then manifests as a disease or some cancer or whatever, some tumor. But then like in that documentary, there's people literally being cured of diseases through taking like mushrooms, and you know, then I think there's a reason everyone's like a bit like, oh God, like kind of scared of them, which I can understand. But like I think there's a reason they were put on earth. Like it's not a mistake that you can take them and you can go, you can raise your frequency, or like you go into like another realm almost. Like that's not by chance. I don't think we have enough information around it. I understand why people are a bit like scared of them or they think they're bad.
Yeah.
But there's
that's kind of how they've been painted too.
So look, it's like alcohol. Like, so that's a drug as well, and that's so widely accepted. Like, if you said to I know your friends, like, oh, I'm going down to the pub now to get, and which most people do, especially in Ireland, absolutely out of their mind and drunk. You're like, oh, that's why crack. Like, oh, he was full last night. Then if you said to someone like, oh, I'm just going to go to the nature, to this beautiful lake and camp out and take mushrooms, they'll be like, what? Like, you can't do that. Like, or your parents would think you're crazy. Like, but I'm just going to go get closer to nature, figure out some maybe issues that I've been hiding, buried beneath me, some trauma, and then come back, and then also you've no hangover and you feel amazing.
Yeah,
it's funny.
They help release so like, you know, you have your mental body, your physical body, your mental, emotional, physical, spiritual. That four? Mental, physical, emotional as well. So they help, like, I mean, they access all bodies, but for me, sometimes, like, I haven't taken them that many times, but like they release the emotional body. So like I fucking cried on them, you know what I mean? And like I don't cry much. I don't say that like I'm a tough man. I'm like, I wish I cried fucking more. You know, or, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, or because I can't release. But like, there's been times where I like cried and like, fuck, that felt good.
Yeah,
like, felt so good to release that. And I didn't even know I was crying, but like, obviously, there was a part of me that was holding something that needed to let go.
Yeah,
I mean, crying one time. I was just like, I was kind of laughing and crying at the same time. It's just like, this is an unusual experience, like, you know, but it definitely feel good. Like,
yeah, even I find experiencing, so like, do you ever like, cry? Well, you don't. But the other day we went to this wellness thing down in the local village, and at the end of the whole, there was loads of talks throughout the day and loads of like different stalls with like Reiki and angel healing and like massages and loads of different things. And one of the talks was, well, one of them was about breathing, but at the very end, it was like a singing circle. And the woman's like, "Oh, if you want to stay, and like we'll like finish off the day with singing." And me and mum's like, "Okay, like why don't we stay?" But as we were like in the circle, like we were just singing lovely hymns, and like they were like, "Don't worry if you can't sing," but we all sounded amazing together. And I'd say most of us couldn't sing. But like I was just like, and I noticed other people like just like I would say leaking because I wasn't sad or happy. It was like lovely. I thought it was like, hush, baby, that you don't have to hold it all in, let it out. And it was like, I don't know, talking to your inner child, but I was just sitting there and I was like, I'm not sad, but it was just like streaming tears, like just singing. But it's like that experience, like you can, as I was saying, like you can get all these experiences on psychedelics or like plant medicine, but you can also get it through singing, meditating, breath work. It's like you can just choose your vice or choose your...
I think like singing music is definitely one of them too.
Yeah.
You know, I've started singing a lot recently. you know.
Right. Let's go.
My voice isn't warmed up.
Okay, right. Later on.
But singing myself, obviously, don't really. I'm not confident singing other people, but singing in the car, driving, because I drive a good bit. I had this. I did ayahuasca a few months ago, and I had this experience where I was just singing, and it just came to me, and I was singing in front of the room. I can't say it was good or bad. I don't know, but what I did experience was it was really. It felt good, and that's what it was about for me. It was finding joy through singing, and then it goes back to what did you learn from that experience? You know, it's not like going to get high, but what I learned in that moment was I could experience joy through singing. And I never really sang before because I've been croaking, like, you know. But now I can. It's like it activated muscles or vocal muscles or whatever, vocal cords that I
Yeah.
haven't really been able to access before. And but now being able to feel into that, it does bring me so much joy. You know, and
Yeah.
it's so simple, like singing, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I suppose that I feel emotional about it. I don't know. Sometimes I'm like, it's so nice to just express yourself, express your body, express your sound, and I think the feeling that it gives, it's like, you know, you're singing from in here, and it's just
Yeah.
like a vibration your body feels,
Yeah.
and it's kind of like it's kind of like medicine. I don't know how to
Yeah.
healing, like, you know.
Well, when you go to like any of those like retreats or like, I know, sound bath healing, everything's about sound and vibration. You know, have you ever done a sound bath healing? Like they were so powerful. I remember like I went to one again, like it sounds like a psychedelic experience, but it wasn't. I was in Barcelona. It was my first time. I didn't really know what to expect, but there's big, massive bowls. And the guy that was leading the class, I think it was a yoga class that we ended with sound bath. And he started playing the bowls, and we were all like lying down, like we were all wrapped in wee blankets. And there was lovely, like other, I think there was music playing in the background. And as he was doing the sound bath, like he kind of went out of, I didn't really know where I was, but I could hear like going like, you know, like going through to your ears. And at one stage I didn't feel like I had a body. I felt like I was just a vibration like in the air. And I remember like, oh my God, this is class. I only kind of felt it after I came down. I was like, oh my God, what the hell was that? Because I didn't realize it when I was in it. But that's all about like vibration, because they say like every organ in our body vibrates at a different frequency. So with the sound bath, it's resonating with whatever frequency. They say that, I think I read this, but like, say like you had a problem with your liver or your heart or whatever it is, like that sound bath will go in through your ear, whatever, and like find the place that needs to be healed and like help you heal it. And I'm a big one for like, I don't know if at nighttime, I think you do it as well, when I can't sleep, or even just like if I'm in the room, I put on like a frequency, like it could be anything like 432 is like the natural frequency of the earth. So I'll just put that on, and that's also good for sleeping at nighttime. Or I'll put a frequency, I'll be like, oh, a frequency for your liver. I'll Google like a frequency for your heart. And there's all these different frequencies that resonate with, yeah, your organs to heal it. So I think that's why singing makes you feel emotional, because like when you're singing, there's a hum, there's a vibration. And then do you ever, you know, the child psychologist, Dr. Gabor Mate, he's always talking about the body. I think, I don't know if it's his book or he always quotes it, the body holds a score.
I know the book.
Yeah. So like there's a lot of talk therapy, which I think is useful, but eventually they say if you keep talking over your same issue, whether it's like the trauma or abuse or whatever it is you experience, by talking about it, you keep reliving it in the present moment, even though it could have been years ago. So I think talk therapy works to a certain extent, but then they're saying your body holds so much emotion that you haven't dealt with. So that, you know, somatic movement and all different somatic breath work and movement is like, or like shaking, there's those different things, because you could have maybe gotten over the trauma that you experienced, but your body might have held on to it too. So it's nice like doing a mix again, going the middle way, bit of talk therapy, bit of movement, breath work, whatever it is, to get rid of like that stored emotion. So I think maybe when you sing, then it's almost like I know you're moving things, maybe some grief out of your body, and then you just start crying. That's maybe what I felt.
Do you feel that you've had any moments in your life then that you've like experienced grief, trauma, or
I feel
things that you've learned from?
to be honest, I feel like I've had a very amazing life, like no childhood trauma, amazing parents, amazing families, siblings. The only thing I could like, which was I always downplay it, but when I tell friends, they're like, "Oh my God, I can't believe that." But I'm very much like like, mom, just get up and get on with it. But when I was 18, was my first boyfriend. He was 10 years older than me, and was like very emotionally abusive, the relationship. You don't really understand it when you're in it, well, especially as a teenager, and if they're 10 years older than you. It was a very like weird dynamic. He was like another religion. He was from another country, my boss, and 10 years older than me. And I was living abroad in Greece. So it was my first experience after leaving uni, going to live in this Greek island. Anyway, so in that 4.5 years, there was a lot of emotional abuse and controlling, like who I could see, what I could wear. Just not being, I would have to ask permission to like do things. He would be like, for like all my friends, I think, well, not I think, I know they would tell me that thought I was mental. They're like, the Barbara that left for Greece, this like bubbly, open personality, like if anything, very headstrong, like no one could tell me what to do, to then coming back. And they were all like, they were so shocked when they see me. Even how I dressed was different because like I wasn't allowed to wear revealing clothing, or I wasn't allowed to go out. So they would like invite me out or like ask me. Even like the likes of like the control was so heavy that my ex would be jealous of my mum. He'd be like, he'd ring me at any hour. I'm like, where are you? I'd be like, oh, I'm shopping with my mum. He would like get annoyed at that. So then like trying to take me away from my family as well. So then I would do things less because I'm like, oh, if he knows that I'm out of the house now, it's going to cause an argument. And I suppose now when people hearing that, like, why didn't you just run? But because it's emotional abuse, they don't just show you that in the first few days. I'm like, right, I'm going to control you, going to tell you what to do. Like, they don't just give you like their CV of what they're going to do to you. It happens slowly over time. So then because you're hooked and you're like also like vulnerable, you know that it's wrong, but you can't get out of it. You know what I mean? People might say, oh, sure, you should have just broke up with him. But it's not as easy as that when you're being controlled. I got so bad at one stage that I actually thought that he would know my thoughts. That's how like bad it was, that how he was in my brain, that I'm like, if I think that, he's going to know and then confront me about it and then have an argument. And then
But like, what were the thoughts that you were afraid of that he might know?
I honestly can't remember. Probably something silly, like I don't want to be in the relationship maybe, or like I really can't remember the thoughts, but I remember thinking I better not think that. So it was really deep. So that's like the only real traumatic thing I think I would have experienced.
But how did you then deal with that? Because you just said yourself, one of the thoughts might be that I don't want to be in this relationship. Like from the time that you maybe thought that to ending the relationship or leaving.
Yeah.
How long did that take?
I can't remember.
Because I think it's common for people to be in them kind. You hear about them kinds of relationship. People are afraid to leave.
Yeah, men and women too. I think generally we probably speak more like the women being emotionally abused, but I know definitely there's men, they just probably don't speak about it as much. Like there's probably loads of times, but it was a weird dynamic of like, I used to live in this Greek island from April to October. He was my boss. So it was that element of him controlling the team. He was quite controlling in general. So he was also my boss as well as my boyfriend. So like I had to listen to him at work. So then I kind of filtered into having to listen to him in the relationship. So there's loads of times I thought, oh my God, but I didn't have the strength. I would try to, and I would name out and say, like, tell him what he was doing to me. And he would kind of skim over it and somehow get me back. Like there's so many times I did storm out or run away, but then somehow he'd speak me round. And because I was like stuck in the Greek island too, I wasn't at home and I didn't have any friends. Even there, I'm the type of person to make friends. If I walk out of your house now, like I'll make friends with the farmer down the road, because I was in Greek island and I didn't make friends with any of the girls I was working with because he kept me away from them as well. Because he would know if you have friends, you know, you get advice from them. Whereas I guess like those kind of like people like that manipulate you, take you away from your friends and your family and anyone that's not them. You know, they want to be your only source of everything.
Yeah.
So eventually I did. I think I just got sick of it. But no, what happened was one of the summers I came back or after, and then I moved down to Dublin to my sister, and being around her and her friends, because I hadn't been around, you know, then I started thinking, this isn't right. And I started feeling like, oh, I feel this far away from him now. Maybe I can do it. Maybe I can break up with him when he's gone, like not so close to me. And then I think just being around them and getting the confidence to be like, no, I don't want to be with him. So then I eventually did.
Did you do that in person or?
No, thankfully I just
But I mean, the reason I ask is it sounded like it would have been hard for you to do in
yeah,
person.
no, that means I would have had to fly to where he
Yeah.
was. I'm like, I'm not doing that. And I already warned him multiple times that if he didn't change that I would do it. So he knew, well, he probably thought I would never do it. So then now I just had to tell him. think it was on a phone call, but of course he wouldn't accept. Oh yeah, but I had tried multiple times before. I forgot to say I tried like breaking up with him multiple times, and he'd be like, no. And then that would also make me think, oh, I can't now because he's the boss and I can't break up with him. So it's a weird, loop. But then obviously I figured out I can, and he just if he doesn't agree with it, that's on him. It's a him problem. So then yeah, he just kept obviously like ringing. So I just had to block him and everything, and then
That was it.
yeah.
What do you feel like looking back now? What it's taught you about yourself?
That's the thing of like, yeah, I also feel like there's no point having regrets about things. And
Because I know we say like looking at things neutral too.
exactly. So like for years, and I'd be like, oh, like when I wasn't in that mindset, like, why did I do it? I wasted 4 years. Thankfully I never lost any friends. I have great, amazing friends that I'm still friends with. I don't know why they stuck by me because I like went like a recluse. But what I was saying is there's no point regretting stuff like that because now it's shaped me as who I am today. And that experience was just an experience. Like, and I also see from his point of view, like his culture, like where they grew up in Tunisia, that is normal. I've been to his country many times and I've seen the dynamic between his mum and all the aunties and uncles and like the relationship. The men are the boss there. And that's not, I'm not saying it was okay what he did, but I can understand as a wee boy growing up. Well, he even said that at one stage, like that's all what he's seen. So I can kind of, I understand why people are like that if they're brought up in an environment where that is normal. Do they really know right from wrong? Like maybe deep down they do, but then if you're conditioned that way, why would you act another way? Why would you wake up and be like, oh no, I'm not gonna do, or it's maybe not even a conscious thing. It's just what they seen. It's like monkey see, monkey do. So in a way, I can understand. So his point of view, but yeah, there's no point regretting stuff like that because I love my life now. I feel like I always feel like every moment's perfect, even when it seems not, like because it's led you up into this moment of your life. So if I didn't have that experience, like sure, I don't know where I would have ended up. Do you ever read the book The Midnight Library?
No, I haven't heard of it.
It's so good. I just came home and mum had it in the house and I read it within 3 days. And I never read books like that fast, only if I love it. And basically, there's a woman and she's going through a hard time, feeling suicidal because everything's falling apart. Like her mom had died, and like she fell out with her brother because of something she did, and then her cat dies. That's the last straw, and she's no one. Like she gets sacked from her job, and she's like, oh, she kept going back like with rose tinted glasses, looking at her past, being like, oh, if only I didn't leave the band, we would have been famous because we were going to sign a record deal. If only I didn't say this, my mom would have been alive. If only. So she kept saying if only. So one night she like tries to overdose and she goes into this like different realm, like in between life and death. And she's presented with this woman who was really kind to her when her father had died as the librarian. So it's in this like kind of like heavenly state. There's like a massive library with thousands of books, but all the books are different variations of her life if she would have had made a different decision. So she was looking back thinking, oh, if only I did this and this. So anyway, in this book, she gets to jump into these books and live the version that she thought would have been better. All the millions of
If
versions.
onlys.
Huh?
All the millions of if
Yeah,
onlys.
like if she turned right down the street and met this guy or said yes to the coffee and all these things. And so then she got, and the rule was if she was in her other reality or other life, she would get to stay in that life and be happy. But if she felt disappointment, she would be snapped out of the reality or that life. So she would go into different lives and be like, oh, like it's amazing. But then something happened. She's like, oh no, actually, I'm glad I didn't get to live that life. Then she got to one life where she thought she really loved, but again, it wasn't the guy that she thought she shouldn't have broken up with. Actually, turned out to be, she forgot all the reasons why she broke up with him, and then she got snapped out of that reality. And then in turn, the whole thing comes back to she actually is happy with her life. It's just she was looking at it from the wrong perspective. So then she comes back and realizes she has loads of things. She just has to mend a few things. And yeah, so that's the kind of the story. And she then lives like a happy life. But that's kind of like there's no point regretting or having wishful thoughts. Being like, if I would have took that job, that wouldn't have happened. If I didn't break up with him, I would have done this. Like, and if I wasn't in that emotionally abusive relationship, I wouldn't have, lost these years of my life. But sure, I also believe in like karma, and I believe in like you choosing your path. Like everything's destined. Like people being put in your path. Like think I was meant to meet you. I think we have really like soulful friendship, and it's like there's people that are put in your life throughout like throughout your path that's meant to be there, and like you trying to avoid them or avoid the situation isn't going to work. There's lessons in those people, in those situations, that can only progress you on to the next level of life or into your next life, because I believe in reincarnation. So there's no point being disappointed about things. I just think everything's meant to be.
Yeah, yeah. And again, that's back to a choice of how you look at the life in terms of, am I choosing to be happy or am I choosing to be sad?
Exactly.
The if only story. Like, and when you realize that, it's just like, Jesus. I mean, the choices that I've been making. I mean, when I realized that, and I was like,
Yeah.
fuck.
Uh-huh.
I thought everything was happening to me instead of for me.
Exactly.
That's a big change. You also said about like reincarnation, and death and stuff. Like you mentioned death as well. Like, how would you describe that if you were to
Reincarnation?
just in general? Like, what's your view on that? Like,
yeah. Well, I think I've always believed in reincarnation. I don't know when it started, but I feel like it's always been in me. But I remember reading a book. I think, did you read it too? I recommended it to you. Maybe you didn't.
which one?
Only Love is Real by Dr. Brian Weiss.
No.
Okay, it's an amazing book. There's like 4 other books around that. So basically, he was a normal like therapist, and people would go to him for like, yeah, just like, to heal their trauma. But what he would incorporate into it was hypnosis, because he studied in Harvard, and they'd seen that hypnotizing people really got deeper into their psyche, and like old traumas would come out, and like, even people wanting to quit smoking or drinking, like hypnotherapy was a way that was successful and proven. So then, he studied at Harvard. He was lecturing at Harvard. He was like really well renowned, and he noticed when he was putting people under hypnosis, they were telling him stories that could not be from this lifetime. And he remembers thinking, I'm not going to delve into this because it's like woo woo. Like if I start telling all my other like psychiatrist friends or what I've been experiencing, all my accolades will be taken off me, especially in that time. I think it was back in the 90s. So anyway, he keeps putting people under hypnosis, and the stories get too much. So he's like, I can't, like, and resonating with himself. I think he had an experience too with his own, while he put someone under hypnosis. He had lost a child when he was younger, and the person, his patient under hypnosis, said like something like, I can't remember, it was like, your son John is here and he wants you to know this. And it was something specific, like no one outside the family knew this. And then that's when he was like, okay, I need to share this with the world. So then he was writing his books. And then there's like thousands of patients he's gone through with similar stories. And it talks about all the soul families traveling together. So the story is you keep getting reincarnated onto Earth or maybe other planets until you learn a lesson. Maybe in this life, before you come down, they say you write a soul contract and you need to learn about compassion, or maybe it's love, or maybe a few lessons, and you choose the people who you're going to do it with. You choose your parents, you choose your family. So you might meet the same person, but the soul is the same, but physically they look different. So for example, maybe in this life, you're Ryan and you have your mum and dad. Maybe if you don't heal whatever you need to heal, or maybe you don't need anything, but say you do, the next life you'll come back, but maybe you'll be your mum and your mum will be you, or, there'll be a mix. So then you can kind of experience it and see from the other perspective and try and heal that wound that you couldn't. So that's like what's in the book as well. And there's just been countless stories of that happening. So yeah, that book's amazing. If anyone wants to read it, The Only Love Is Real by Dr. Brian Weiss.
I do think about it sometimes. I don't think too deeply about it, but I'm always open to the possibility that that is the reality, because I also believe that, like, we're all one. So literally everything and everyone and everything that you can think, see, whatever, it's all part of like one living being entity or one energy,
Yeah.
So like you're me, I'm you. It's just like I'm a reflection of you and you're a reflection of me. But like at the core, at the source, at that spark, whatever that spark is, that spark of creation that creates everything, that's what we are.
Yeah, 100%.
So like we're everything, we're every life, we're everything you can conceive.
Yeah, 100%. And it's like, that's when they say like, I know it's in the Bible, but I think it all stems from spirituality. Like treat your neighbor as you would yourself, or something like that. Don't quote me. But it is because you're only hurting yourself by treating other people badly, because they say like we're all each other. So that's why we really should be nice to, because it's not something like, My sister always calls me half a story because I feel like I would literally have half stories. Like there's something in us that doesn't resonate. Say now I talk bad about you, like all right, like in my head if I leave him, like oh, he's so annoying, or just mentally or thinking bad things about you. Your brain doesn't know the difference. We only know we only know self, or we don't know he, she, them. So if I'm saying Ryan's so annoying, he's just not. What my body's saying, I'm so annoying, or I'm ugly, or I'm fat, or I'm this. So because we don't know anything other than self, that's why we really shouldn't be speaking bad about other people, because you're reinforcing to yourself all the things you think about other people, but your body's telling you it's you. So that's why we're, one and the same, and we should be good to other people because we are them and they are us.
Yeah, and then that's back to like whenever you've experienced that or someone triggers something in you that you feel like uncomfortable with it, that like that's like an opportunity
Yeah.
to learn whatever that is about yourself. Is like, why am I experiencing this? Why am I feeling this?
Yeah.
And then it's just like, okay, learning to work through that, because we do meet a lot of people in our life who trigger us or make us feel a certain way that we don't like feeling, and we just automatically think, oh, fuck them, or they're this and they're that. But really it's just like, well, actually, what if you ask yourself, like, actually, why am I feeling this way? What are they bringing up in me? And if they have a problem, that's their problem.
Yeah, exactly.
Barbie, been a pleasure having you here today.
I know, it's so good. Well, I mean, we are friends, but it's just like the chats that we'd have anyway.
Yeah.
Just now other people can listen to them.
I mean, I don't know how many people will I suppose be like, what are they talking about? Do you know what I mean? But no, it's good to share, I suppose, because I believe what we're talking about is very valuable to live in life, and how you can live life in a way that can make you feel good, and dealing with shitty emotions or shit situations where you always think, oh, the world's against me and stuff like, but really, a lot of the time they're just opportunities to see a better way.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
Okay, we'll wrap it up.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ryan.